are on.
To welcome you inside the Brooklyn Park Community Center one final time this season as the Eagles host the Robbinsdale Armstrong Cooper Wings in a makeup game from the end of January. Wings coming in off a huge victory over tournament hopeful Orono. They'll have to contend with Jack Campion, who's put up 54 points on the season. 23 goals, 31 assists for the senior forward. Starting in goal tonight will be Owen Reeve. Comes in with a 3.67 goals against average, so the Wings, they'll score some, they'll give up some.
Sounds a little bit like Totino-Grace.
As the Eagles introduced, it will be the potential final home game for the seniors.
Well, actually, as I talked to them, as I talked to Coach Foley, they were saying, yes, it will be the final home game because their section quarterfinal, which presumably is going to be against Champlin Park. There's about a 99% chance that'll be the matchup. They'll actually play that quarterfinal game up at Coon Rapids since they split those section quarterfinals between Coon Rapids and the Champlin Ice Forum. So guaranteed neutral site game, and that also means this is the final time they will ever play at Brooklyn Park.
That's interesting. Sure, we'll talk about that as the game goes along, but it's kind of interesting. You know, we were talking before the game, you know, each section kind of has its own little governing body. So some sections you get home sites early rounds, some you get, I guess, neutral sites the whole way through. We're going to take a break and come back with your puck drop right after this. Welcome you back inside for the final home game of the season for Totino-Grace. They take on Armstrong Cooper. I mentioned coming off a big victory over Orono, who's a strong state tournament contender in single A. As the Wings get set to break their huddle.
Yeah, I'm anticipating a pretty close game between both these squads. One of the keys is that Armstrong Cooper, talking to the coaching staff, they play a very physical style. They got a lot of big guys on this squad too. So they're going to throw their bodies around, and talking to the coaching staff, including Coach Foley, he was saying, yeah, they have to be able to match the physicality of Armstrong Cooper in this one, and they're hoping by having Kyle Heffron stay back on defense in this game that'll go a long way towards matching the physicality of this very good Armstrong Cooper team.
As the Eagles control the opening face-off, Heffron playing it from deep in his own end. They'll send it around the net toward the far side and will be cleared for an early icing. 16:45 to go here in the first period. No score, just underway here from the Brooklyn Park Community Center. The Wings in the navy blue and red. Eagles in the home white this evening. Face off, played up into the far side corner to the left of goaltender Wes Johnson as it comes around toward the near side. The Eagles will set up from behind their own cage. This one will sneak through once again, and that will go for icing. Another face-off in the Eagle zone coming. 16:32 to go first period, and no score. Along with Al Finley, Brett Johnson, one more time from the Brooklyn Park Community Center. Face off to the left of Johnson. Controlled by the Wings, a quick shot wide of the net, comes down toward the near side, sent toward the net by Evan Marshalick. As the Eagles through neutral with it. Heffron into the offensive zone, comes around the far side, they score! Austin Bernovic able to corral the loose puck on the far side of the net. And he puts the Eagles on top 1-0.
Well, here's a good start for Totino-Grace. Let's go ahead and watch it on the replay and see how this one developed.
As it looked like Heffron was sliding it through. I'm not sure whether Oliver Moore was supposed to take the puck or just let it go through. He chose to let it go through, and it worked out to the Eagles' benefit. The Eagles poke it down toward the near side into the corner. Taken away behind the net almost by Delzer. Now Delzer able to gather it in. Howie Moore on the near side. Poked into the corner. Played off the back of the net. Austin Cableback trying to get it ahead. It's tipped through the neutral zone by Jonathan Essen. So Bernovic putting the Eagles on top 1-0. That centering feed just failing to click out front. Played out to neutral ice. Flipped back in deep to the Eagles zone by Joe Potter. Out on the near side corner. Comes loose in the slot in front of the net. Delzer was trying to block that shot, but it got through to Wes Johnson, who holds on. 15-13 to go first period. 1-0 Eagles leading it on the goal by Austin Bernovic.
Yeah, that'll go a long way to boosting their confidence here in this first period. In the last game, the Eagles, I thought, had a solid effort against a good Greenway team. One of the better squads in Class 1A, and they're hoping to continue that here tonight. If they can get a win this evening, then beat Spring Lake Park on Friday, that would at least give them a little two-game winning streak heading into the sections, and 9-14-1 certainly looks a lot better than 7-16-1.
Absolutely. Now the Eagles looking to win this makeup game tonight. It was postponed from the end of January. As Trenton Pearson able to get it into the offensive zone. Pearson battling for the puck. Now Jack Gray joining the scrum. Pearson still in the group as Pearson comes out with it. Throws it just wide of the net down in front. Patrick Finley plays it through the corner up toward the far side. Gray able to gain control. Gray drops it back to Ganaz as Ganaz gets it into the corner. And we'll get a whistle. And a penalty will come here on the Wings. So the Eagles will go on a power play here in the first period, already leading 1-0.
Yeah, taking a look at the Totino-Grace power play unit. Decent numbers on the season as they do check in. And 29% on the power play. Meanwhile, the penalty kill for Armstrong Cooper checks in at 77%.
It'll back over to Heffron at the near side point. Heffron running it toward the far side circle for Smith. Smith thought about trying to drop it down. Heffron able to maintain control of it. Heffron, though, has it poked away from him into the neutral zone by Jacob Voorhees. As the Eagles will set up from their own end, 14:02 to go first period, 1-0. Austin Bernovic putting the Eagles ahead as the Wings clear at the length of the ice. Heffron will set up behind his own net with it. With 1:22 to go in the power play. Heffron trying to bank it ahead. Coaches, were talking a little bit before the game about Heffron's changed role in the game plan. I think it would be, wanted to see how things would go having the bigger body back there at the point. And they get it back over to Heffron on the near side. Heffron in here, Smith. Smith going to gain control of it, can't get it off as a backhander is swept aside. Back to Smith. Smith out front and just poked wide.
Ooh, how did that not go in?
Bernovic gets it back to Heffron. Ganaz dropping it to Smith. Smith getting it to Moore. Bernovic, backhander, saved and held on to by Reeves.
Well, a tremendous pass entering the zone is what kind of set up that pressure by Totino-Grace. So far so good, I think, on this power play unit. And we'll see if they can continue that momentum for the next 37 seconds and maybe pop one in.
Howie Moore controls the face-off. Cycling it over to Adam Johnson, who plays it hard to Delzer. Delzer and Thielen behind the net as the Wings get it to the blue line, but not out. They get it back to Thielen for a shot saved by Reeves. Plays up into the corner. Eagles work their way toward the front of the net where it's taken away out front by Jack Steinke. He's able to get it out to neutral with 10 seconds to go on the power play. 1-0 Eagles leading it on the Bernovic goal. It's Howie Moore fighting for it on the near side as it's played around the net. Power play comes to an end as Mike Burns gets to it in the corner, gets it out to neutral ice. Played back into the wing zone. Stretch pass ahead off the stick of Matt Campion. Eagles back through neutral ice. Nice job, though, by the Wings to keep it out initially from the blue line as here's Delzer. Delzer far side circle for Finley. Finley getting it back on the stick behind the net. Finley tied up in the near corner as it pops free. Played back up toward the far side as Joe Campion gathering it in there.
Well, Patrick, going to have to ask you to go a little radio style here as we've lost our video feed, so I'm going to go check that out down there.
No problem. As the Eagles pass the puck up toward the far side, they push it in along in front of the Wings bench. Wings regaining possession, played down toward the near side in the Armstrong-Cooper zone. Pushed back into the neutral zone. The Wings carry it in with Noah Wisejohn. Wisejohn along the far side will carry it behind the net, now played back over toward the near side. Wings able to hold it in briefly on the near side and then forced out to neutral ice. Carried in by Ben Anderson. Anderson will flip it back in deep to the Eagle zone. They're going to thread this one through to Jack Gray. Gray with a shot stick saved by Owen Reeve. It comes down to the near side. Gathered in on the near side corner by Tuchtenoggin. Tuchtenoggin able to get it out to neutral ice. The Eagles right back in. Moore trying to get it back to Bernovic, but it was blocked by Tuchtenoggin. Flipped back out through neutral. And icing was 10:36 to go here in the first period. 1-0 Eagles leading it. Austin Bernovic putting Totino-Grace ahead early. Bedercher will take the face-off against Oliver Moore. Eagles able to control as he'll cycle it through the corner, back down toward the near side. Played through the near side corner as Tuchtenoggin was trying to get it ahead. Still tied up in the near side corner. Bernovic able to come out with it. Bernovic trying to get it behind him for Moore. Bernovic still with it as he's pushed hard into the end boards. Trying to get it back to Connor Smith. Bernovic still with it. Bernovic drops it back to Smith. Bernovic back with it with a shot, and that went off the inside of the crossbar and came out.
Wow.
As Bernovic with down low, they were able to punch it in. My apologies as that Connor Smith was able to sneak that one through. and the Eagles lead 2-0.
No shortage of action on that shift. I was convinced that original shot actually went in the net, but there wasn't a whole lot of protest. But well, they make up for it here on this sequence as we're going to get a look at that goal again. What ended up happening here? Yeah, I think it looks like the goaltender thought he collected that rebound, which he did not. It's just you kind of bounce in the air right there, and still having some trouble trying to see exactly how that went in, but indeed it did. 2-0 TG.
Well, that actually be the second goal of the period for Austin Barnavik. So Barnavik off to a brilliant start tonight with 2 goals in the first 8 minutes. So Barnavik, a guy, Brett, you and I have talked about this a few times, got off to a really good start. Wasn't calling his name a lot for a good chunk of the middle of the season, but now he's starting to heat up again in a hurry, which is just what the Eagles will need heading into sectionals.
Yeah, very streaky player. The Eagles have a couple of those types of players. I would say Sam Thielen certainly is in that category, along with Luke Delzer, guys who, if they get hot, can really carry this offense, and Bernavec is certainly among them.
Thielen on the near side, slowing it down, pushed into the end boards. Delzer digs the puck out. Delzer still left it, able to thread it through to Ganaz. Ganaz on the far side will take a shot that gets through to Reeve, and he holds on with 9:18 to go in the first period.
Yeah, just watching Totino-Grace early on, they look very engaged in this opening frame. This is one of the better starts they've had since the new year, where the team looks sharp. They look like they're ready to go tonight, which is different from some of the other starts we've seen from Totino-Grace since the new year. Again, they come in with just a record of 2-11-2 since January 1st, so getting this early lead will go a long way to boosting their confidence.
As the Wings get it ahead to Wise John. Wise John will take a shot on Wes Johnson, who makes a glove save. 9:08 to go in the first period as the Wings getting that heavy scoring line out there with Campion and Wise John. And again, that first goal of the game.
Yeah, that first line for Armstrong Cooper has been unbelievable this season as they've combined for over 100 points between Jack Campion and Ben Anderson. And certainly that's a reason why I think Armstrong Cooper is going to be a factor in Section 2A this year. Quick note there, they actually are playing a single A schedule this season and will be in the single A regions as they opted to move down this season for class, which I don't think is necessarily a bad idea for them, because if they stay double A, well, they'd be probably in that just brutal 6 double A with the likes of Edina, Cretan, Durham, Hall, Wyzetta, and others. So I think a better competitive fit for them to move down to single A.
Thielen was able to push it into the offensive zone. Taken away on the near side as a couple players stumble over each other. It's back in the Eagle zone as Ganaz circles his net with it. Ganaz on the give and go, pushes it into the offensive zone as Thielen got spun around coming into the offensive zone. Oliver Moore back with it at neutral ice. Moore trying to weave his way through the defenders. It ends up with Campion. With Jack Campion, we should say there are 4 Campions on this team.
That's a broadcaster's nightmare right there. So you got the last names on the back of the jersey as well. Not that that would help you much unless they have the first initial on there, but
Jack, Matt, Joe, and Teddy, the 4 Campions on the roster.
And Jack is the one to watch as he comes into the season. You mentioned it in the pregame with 54 points, so he'll certainly be a guy that TG will have to keep their eye on. Just watching the game thus far, we haven't really seen Armstrong Cooper use that physicality advantage very much, as Totino-Grace has done a nice job avoiding some checks, but I also think for Armstrong Cooper, they gotta kind of find their feet right here, and if they can disrupt some of the flow Totino-Grace has had with their size, that'll certainly help them out to get back into it.
Howie Moore with it. Moore trying to drive the slot. It's poked away as Connor Smith played it up for the far side. Wings get it back out to neutral. Smith has it go off of his stick. Oliver Moore into the offensive zone where it's poked away once again and sent back up by Mike Burns toward the blue line. Shot through traffic, knocked down in front of the net. Smith getting it over toward Oliver Moore.
Yeah, you just see how quick Totino-Grace is moving the puck. It's quickly moving off their sticks. They're moving with the puck quickly. It's not allowing Armstrong to really get many bodies on players, which is what Totino-Grace needs to do to have success.
Absolutely, as the Wings get it back out, 3-on-2 into the offensive zone. The shot, that goes up out of play with 7:03 to go in the period.
Now it'll be interesting to see if Totino-Grace can keep up that pace for the entire game, because if you get in any sort of lapse and don't quite have that same speed, that plays really into Armstrong Cooper's hands. So that'll be the challenge for TG, is to keep that same pace up for 51 minutes. And that has been a challenge for them this season, where during stretches, the Eagles have looked like they're one of the best teams in the state, while in other stretches, they look like they could get beat by just about anybody. So that'll certainly be something they'll have to work on tonight.
Delzer into the offensive zone with a Delzer driving toward the net. A shot saved by Reeve, and he holds on. Now we're starting to get a little bit of physical after the play activity. Looks like they're going to take at least Delzer.
Yeah, it might just be Delzer as they're moving that face-off down to the other side. So we're going to get a look at this Armstrong Cooper power play unit, and looking at some numbers for them. They do come in with 23% on the power play. Meanwhile, the TG penalty kill unit not as good as it was earlier in the season, as they're down to just 76% on the PK.
So the Wings on the power play. Delzer hits into the penalty box. Wings setting up in the offensive zone in front of the Eagle bench. They'll play it into the corner. Drop it down to the slot. They score! So the Wings convert the power play goal almost immediately. And Ben Anderson has cut the deficit in half to 2-1 with 6:39 to go in the first period.
Yeah, if you give that top unit any sort of space by being shorthanded, that's usually going to come back to burn you. That's exactly what happened there. And unfortunately for the Eagles, their penalty kill unit was so good early in the season in December when it was up near 90%. And then as we brought up, it's now moved to the mid-70s. And again, they gave up a quick goal. So got to find a way to kill some of those penalties better, as Armstrong Cooper made them pay, and this could certainly give the Wings some energy for the remainder of the period. 17
on the year now for Ben Anderson. So it's now 2-1 as the Eagles play it back into the Wings zone. Howie Moore back with it. Going to get over toward Finley. Karams back into the Wings zone. Wings able to play it out along the near side. They get it over toward Joe Campion. Campion able to get it deep into the Eagles zone. It'll circle the net around toward the near side. Eagles able to cut it off. They'll get it toward Pearson on the far side. Pearson banking it ahead toward Gray. Get it toward Kubelbeck. Kubelbeck in the near side corner gets tied up. Back to the point. They slide it under where it's tipped just wide by Joe Campion. The nice thing here, we'll bring it back into the Eagles zone with 5:25 to go in the first period. 2-1 our score after the Eagles got off to an early 2-0 lead. 2 goals by Austin Bernovic. And then a power play goal for Ben Anderson, cutting the lead in half.
Well, Armstrong Cooper taking a closer look at their season after having a 4-game losing streak back in January. They've now won 4 out of their last 5 games, including an 8-2 victory over Champlin Park, who is likely going to be TG's opponent in the section quarterfinals.
Evan Axel gets this one through. Axel with a shot that just tipped wide of the net. Loose in front, and Wes Johnson able to get on top of it.
I'm not sure Wes Johnson saw that first shot that was tipped cleanly, as he was very lucky that it bounced just wide of the net. So Armstrong Cooper, that goal has given them a little more energy now, as they're starting to get their legs under them and starting to put some pressure on TG.
Face it off, controlled by the Eagles. They get it out to neutral ice. Here's Thielen in. Thielen had it poked away from behind as Thielen gets it behind the net for Delzer. Delzer drops it back to the point. Thielen back over to Delzer. Delzer as it intercepted. Carried back out to neutral by Jack Potter. Carried into the offensive zone. A quick shot wide of the net by Matt Campion. Down toward the near side corner, and the Eagles quickly break through the neutral zone. Delzer tried to flip it in, but it was blocked right at the blue line. Wings from the red line will fling it into the Eagle zone. It's intercepted. Golden was trying to play it ahead. The Eagles will set up behind their own net. 4:12 to go, first period. 2-1, Eagles leading. The Wings able to play this one past Golden deep into the Eagle zone. I think I might call an icing on that one.
I think might be getting a penalty, actually.
I think you're right.
Yeah, we're going to get a cross check against Totino-Grace, so it's going to give Armstrong another power play where on their last opportunity they converted within about 15 seconds, so another challenge here for the TG penalty killers. Try to keep this lead.
Well, the Wings, who have already cashed in with the man advantage, back on the power play. Gray for the cross check. Wings with it behind the Eagle net. Comes down into the near side circle and into the corner. Well, back to the point. Working his way through is Campion, Jack Campion, we should say. As the Eagles able to clear the length of the ice. Reeve out of his net to slow it down. Joe Potter behind his own net. It had to Noah Wisejohn. Wisejohn, though, coming in offside. 1:25 in the power play, 3:27 in this first period. The Eagles leading at 2-1. Well, I guess the PA guys are ready for some baseball, Brett. You can't hear it. They've got Take Me Out to the Ball Game playing on the PA system.
I don't know if you saw the baseball world, where apparently they want to expand the playoffs to 14 teams next year.
Yeah, let the top seeds pick who they want to play.
My goodness. Can you imagine if they did that in high school hockey?
It's a shot sent up out of play from Joe Campion. It's just, I mean, it almost seems, it's been too much time dwelling on this. It almost seems reality TV-ish.
Yeah, that's exactly the appeal. I'm just picturing that in high school hockey. How about in the state tournament if they let the #1 seed pick their opponent? I would find that highly entertaining, although I think that would be a nightmare for the coaches. You got like an Edina as the top seed, and Edina selects to play Moorhead or something, then you got everyone in Moorhead all up in arms. Be fun for the media, but probably not so fun for the coaches.
48 seconds to go in the power play. There's a shot through traffic wide of the net, off the glass. The Wings able to maintain possession. And they get it down low and able to find it in front of Ben Anderson is Wes Johnson with 32 seconds to go in the power play. Of course, spring training at least started up this week. Well, of course, you still have the lingering drama from the sign stealing scandals that cloud hasn't quite fully lifted yet as teams breaking for spring training.
I wonder if we got any multi-sport athletes out on the ice. At least when I went to high school, I know a couple of the hockey players that I went to school with that played varsity actually ended up playing baseball in the spring. Of course, the multi-sport athlete has kind of become a thing of the past, which is too bad, but who knows, maybe you got a few of those for Armstrong or for Totino-Grace.
Or, the other thing that I notice is, the multi-sport athlete is, he used to be really good at more than what, would be really good at most of those sports. Is Johnson able to cover it up here? But, you might see a guy who, he's got a top sport and he's got a sport that he maybe rides the bench and plays a little bit of garbage time. If you get my drift on that one.
Yeah, you typically don't see that, that's for sure, right.
I guess a guy who was a shot saved by Johnson.
I don't think he got the rebound.
Wraparound attempt, they score, and the Wings have tied the game with 2 minutes to go here in the first period.
And that'll be it might technically be another power play goal. I'm not sure. It was awfully close from when that time ran out, but we're going to get a look at this again right here. And unfortunately for Wes Johnson, he was not able to hang on to that rebound, and that's what created that scoring opportunity for Armstrong. Let's go back and watch it again. You're going to see right here, actually it wasn't even a rebound. Wes Johnson was just kind of fooled. It looked like he got a kind of caught in a bad position going to his knees. Here, let's watch it again. You're going to see right here, he just got caught out of position, and Armstrong able to make him pay on that wraparound. So another learning experience there for Wes Johnson. He's just a freshman, certainly has a lot of talent, but that will certainly be one he wants to have back.
Ryan Battertscher with the goal for the Wings. Through neutral, here's Adam Johnson into the offensive zone. Johnson able to fend his way off through the defenders, tries to stuff it under Reeve. The Wings will be able to get it out to neutral ice. Matt Campion played it ahead. The Eagles regain possession. Thielen, the shot that's partially tipped wide of the net. Jack Steinke got in front of that. And we'll get a whistle with the net getting knocked off. Just to finish up what we were talking about, a guy in recent years who was a truly talented multi-sport athlete was Brad Davison, who was at Maple Grove, and some of you might know him now as a basketball star with the Wisconsin Badgers, and although he's kind of generated some share of controversies down in Madison, particularly this season, but you know, he was the best basketball player in program history. He was the starting quarterback for the football team for a few years. Well, certainly not a completely dead concept, but maybe just not as much, as I was saying, as it used to be. 1 minute to go here in the first period. 2-2 our score. The Eagles got out to an early lead with a pair of Austin Bernovic goals, but the Wings have come back to tie the game.
And even though that second goal technically I don't think will count on the power play, it was still set up by having that man advantage. I think they scored just as the penalty had expired, so it's essentially 2 power play goals for Armstrong Cooper, and the PK struggles do continue for TG. Funny how you can kind of go on streaks sometimes on special teams, whether it's on the power play side or the penalty kill side, where sometimes you can get red hot. Other times it feels like nothing goes right whatsoever.
Oliver Moore into the offensive zone. Well, certainly something that Coach Foley's going to have to talk about with the team. And we're going to get a penalty coming here against the Wings. Bernovic was pinned up into the far side corner.
Yeah, they'll get a boarding or something like that on him. So that'll give TG a chance to try to regain some momentum. They're 0 for 1 thus far on the power play in the game. So this will be a good chance for them here in the final 32 seconds to see if they can regain that momentum, because they came in to this, at least early in the first period, they came out really playing well, but unfortunately for them, they kind of lost their momentum early on. Their passing was so crisp. They were just moving the puck really well, and they haven't quite had that same crispness since then. Crispness. Say that 10 times fast.
Bernovic with a shot that goes off of Reeve just wide. Puck still loose on the end boards. Bernovic able to come out with it, drops it back to Heffron. Heffron was trying to get it off to Smith. It was tipped away from in front of him. Ganaz will go get it back in the neutral zone as the period will come to an end. Ganaz gains the blue line as they blow the buzzer. So the Eagles got off to a great start. 2 goals from Austin Bernovic, but then a power play goal from Anderson, and what was more or less a power play goal from Battertscher, and the game is tied as we go to the end of the first period. What do you think Coach Foley's going to be talking about heading into the locker room?
Well, I think they just need to kind of get back to what they were doing early in that first period, is essentially as simple as you can kind of boil it down to. It was a great first 7 minutes, and then The last 7 or 8 minutes, not so good, and that was partially due to the fact that they took some penalties, which kind of took the wind out of their sails. So, yeah, Finley and the rest of the coaching staff going to have to try to get those guys re-engaged and re-energized for the second period.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the TG Network. 2-2 after one period. Welcome you back inside the Brooklyn Park Community Center. Game tied at 2 after one period. Eagles got off to a fantastic start. 2 goals from Austin Bernovic, but the Wings chipped back. Goal from Ben Anderson. That made it 2-1. Then a goal from Ryan Battercher that tied it at 2. One of those was a power play goal. The other one was basically a power play goal. Came just seconds after a power play had expired. Eagles will begin the second period with 1:29 of power play. Looking to regain the lead. Along with Brett and Al, I'm Patrick. Pushed into the wing zone. Oliver Moore on the far side. Throws it back to Heffron. Ganaz with it, dropping it down toward the far side. Shot that was blocked. Ganaz able to get it back to Heffron. Heffron over to Ganaz. Ganaz with a shot through traffic, saved by Reeve. Laid up into the far side. Puck works its way free, and then it's cleared. As Ganaz will set up deep in his own end. Under a minute to go on the power play. 53 seconds and counting. Ganaz starts up ice. Gets it to Heffron. Heffron to Bernovic. Bernovic, though, lost it at the blue line. That'll allow the Wings to clear.
And that's more the physical play I was expecting to see out of Armstrong Cooper that we saw. They did a nice job meeting TG at the blue line and kind of blowing that play up.
Well, Finley was warning us in the beginning that he expected a very physical game from the Wings. Didn't see a lot of it in the first period, but starting to see a little bit of it there. The Wings get another clear with 15 seconds to go on the power play. 15:45 here in the second period. 2-2 our score as Ganaz working his way through neutral. Cut off as he gained just inside the blue line, and it's cleared. The power play officially coming to an end. Golden trying to get it ahead for Adam Johnson as it was tipped into the wing zone, played behind the net down toward the near side. Howie Moore with it in his own zone. And out of the reach of Delzer as it comes down toward the near side, as that'll let the Wings send it back into the Eagle zone. Howie Moore from behind the net, starting his way up ice. Moore able to cross the red line as he sends it in deep to the wing zone. Wings sending it back into the Eagle end. It's Howie Moore again will set up from behind his own net. Get up for the far side where Finley was knocked off the puck. Here's Golden with it. Golden banking it off the near side. It's tied up at the red line. Wings get it ahead. It's played in deep by Matt Campion. We start to see the physical play increasing even a little bit further as Jack Gray putting on a big hit, and the puck will be iced with 14:10 to go here in the second period.
Yeah, certainly playing right into the hands of Armstrong Cooper right now with that puck staying along the rails, gives them a chance to throw their weight around a little bit. I mean, this is a big, got some big guys on this Armstrong Cooper team, and it's one of the reasons why they've had a very successful season. Why I still think they could certainly be a factor in that Section 2A tournament, which will begin next week.
Puck coming loose in the slot as Gray chipping it ahead toward Finley, and it'll be icing with 13:56 to go here in the second period.
Yeah, and that play we just saw a moment ago kind of encapsulates the problem that Totino-Grace were in the first 7 minutes of the game. They would have been connecting on that pass and probably would have had a breakaway, but as you saw just a moment ago, just a little bit off on that timing as they overshot it.
Played up into the far side corner in the Eagle zone. And we're going to whistle with the penalty I think will go against. There's being offside as one of the Wings players was pointing around somewhat emphatically. They'll blow it dead off the face-off once again. Face-off sent back into the Eagles zone. Ganoff will try to play it around the net. Play taken away here by Campion. There's a shot, they score from just inside the blue line. And the Wings go on top 3-2 here early in the second period.
I want to see this one again here to see if Wes Johnson was screened. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Mike Burns, who took the shot from just inside the blue line.
Oh yeah, my goodness, there was about 5 bodies screening Wes Johnson. 3 of them were for Armstrong Cooper, so that's a good job by them to create some traffic in front of a very talented freshman goalie for Totino-Grace. You're going to see, yeah, right there. You see, well, actually come 2 blue jerseys right in front of him, doing a nice job blocking the vision of goaltender Wes Johnson, and that allowed that shot to sneak through for the goal. And look at that, Armstrong Cooper takes the lead now.
Well, the Wings leading for the first time in the game. They trailed 2-0 early in the first period and have come all the way back with 3 straight to take the lead. Deep in the Wings zone, it's played around the net toward the near side.
And that just is a theme we've seen a lot from Totino-Grace this season, where if you're back on defense, you gotta move those guys out of the way. You gotta have that physical presence defending the front of your net, and at times this season, the Eagles have really struggled with that defensively.
They were talking about the Section 2A, as right now Armstrong Cooper would come in as the 2 seed in that section. And the number 1 seed would be Orono, and the Wings have picked up a huge victory over the Spartans a couple days ago. Yeah,
that was one of their 4 out of 5 wins they've had over the past few weeks, so they'll certainly be a big factor in what a boon that would be to that hockey program. Now the merger between Armstrong and Cooper, if they were to get a state tournament appearance, I mean, one of the reasons why that program did end up becoming one, Armstrong and Cooper, of course, used to have separate hockey programs, but their numbers and participations were way down, so that's why they combined. And you would think if they were to reach a state tournament, that would certainly help in terms of trying to get those numbers back up for Armstrong Cooper.
They'll get an icing here with 12:10 to go here in the period, but the top half of Section 2A is absolutely loaded with Orono, the Wings, Delano, looking to defend their state tournament appearance from last year, and Mound West Tonka. So that's certainly going to be one of the more intriguing ones to watch as we head into sectionals, as Delzer scores off the centering feed from Thielen, and the game is tied.
Well, there's a good break-in play by Totino-Grace. Let's go ahead and get you a look at that one again. Just a much better job on that zone entry, just using a lot of speed there to create that 2-on-1. Delzer even able to work through a little bit of a stick that was in his jersey from an Armstrong Cooper player, so good strength shown by him as he ties this game up at 3.
Well, the Eagles come up with a big response after they gave up 3 in a row. Wings push it back into the Eagles zone. We'll get by Delzer. It'll work its way into the Wings zone. Delzer trying to drive around the net, still with the puck, and now it's taken away. This will go for icing and a face-off deep in the Wings zone. 11:41 to go here, second period. 2-2 our score.
And for Luke Delzer, taking a look at his stats on the season, that is going to be his 19th goal of the year. He, of course, had that stretch in January where he had, 7 goals in 4 games?
The 4 goals against Blaine in that overtime loss. One of those wild finishes.
That's what Totino-Grace is going to have to do, as we saw on that last goal. They just used their speed to create that 2-on-1. It's an interesting contrast between these two squads, where it's going to be the speed and the or the speed and the skill of Totino-Grace versus the size and the physicality of Armstrong Cooper. Now both teams use that to their advantage to score lots of goals, because normally you would think, all right, well that means one team plays good offense, one team plays good defense, but that's not necessarily the case. Both these teams score a lot of goals, but they also do give up quite a lot of goals as well.
Quick shot was sent off the glass. Centering feed out front, and they try to drop it back to Jonathan Essen, was taken away. Puck sent down toward the near side. And sent back into the Eagle zone. As Howie Moore plays it up toward the far side as Connor Smith absorbed a big hit. Wings send it back into the Eagle end. Golden over to Howie Moore. And you can kind of see even on a play like that, as Howie Moore got a little bit of a shove as he got that puck away, that I think right now the Wings are looking to, if you've got the puck, you're going to get a hit, or you're going to have somebody in your face letting you know that a hit's only a quick puck flip away.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do out there to play your physical style, or even if you're not going and lighting somebody up, you're just giving them a bump to know that every time you touch the puck, you're going to be paying that price. And after a while, that'll wear down your opponent and start to bother them, and that'll have to be the strategy for Armstrong Cooper.
The Wings control the face-off off the icing if they try to play it behind the net. Backhand centering feed goes off the back of the net. It's Heffron. Kicked ahead, but able to be gathered back in by by Ben Anderson, who played back out to neutral ice. Gray into the offensive zone, and he just narrowly misses a big hit.
Well, speed is one way to avoid those big hits, as we just saw right there. He was going to get his bell rung right there if he had
he was
not used that speed. Yeah,
he was going into the bench if that hit connected with him.
Yeah.
Shot in on goal. Rebound is loose. Still loose and covered up by Reeves.
By the way, looking at the stats for both these teams, I talked about how they both give up a lot of goals and score a lot of goals. Armstrong Cooper averages an impressive 4.55 goals per game, but they also do give up 3.59, which is certainly very high. For Totino-Grace, the same story. They average 3.78 per game, but do give up 4.61. And so far this game playing out sort of the way we expected already, with the combined 6 goals, and we're not even midway through the contest.
Golden back with the puck in his own zone. Tries to play it ahead. It's loose at neutral. Thielen able to get it in. Played back over toward the near side as Golden winds up for a blast. Banked off the far side boards as Schroeder couldn't hold. Schroeder coming away with the puck once again. He tries to work his way around. Pushed back into the neutral zone. Golden bringing it back in the Eagle end. 9:25 to go, second period. 3-3 our score. Schroeder plays it in deep. Each team with a goal here in the second period. The Wings took their first lead of the game, but then the Eagles from Dells are able to tie it back up. Schroeder coming out from behind the net with it. Stretch pass down toward Bernovic on the near side. Bernovic, though, couldn't quite touch it up and will have an icing. 8:57 to go, second period. 3-3 our score.
Yeah, Bernovic was hoping they had NHL rules on icing, because if that were the case, he would have had a chance to retrieve that puck. But, of course, being high school rules, doesn't matter if you're the first one to that face-off circle. It's going to be icing every time.
Swing around toward the near side. Bernovic into the neutral zone. Cross-ice pass. It's tipped ahead by Smith. The Wings will play it around their own net toward the near side. Golden. Heffron got it down low. It's tipped back into the neutral zone. And Ganaz will go back to grab it. Ganaz behind his own net with it as he circles it down toward the near side. Then Ganaz puts on a big hit, and that jars the puck free back into the corner.
Unfortunately, he lost his stick, though, and he's having trouble getting it back, so it's a 5-on-4.5, if you will.
Clear attempt intercepted at the red line, flipped back in by the Wings. Ganaz still without a stick because of how quickly the Wings got that back into the offensive zone. As Ganaz able to get his stick back. We're going to 8 minutes to play here in the period. Wes Johnson makes the save on that drive from the blue line. Heffron setting up. Heffron nearly has it taken away from behind as it's sent back in deep to the Eagle zone. Ganaz puts on a big hit. Puck comes free in the corner as Anderson sends one through the blue. Smith will be able to get it out to neutral. The Wings bringing it back into the offensive zone. Heffron, though, was able to take it away. It works free. Connor Smith. Smith into the offensive zone. Smith has it poked away down to the near side and cleared. That'll go for icing and a face-off in the Armstrong-Cooper zone. 7:06 to go here in the second period. 3-3 our score.
Yeah, you're going to watch right here. This was a nice job to break up that play by, who was that, number 17, Jack Steinke. Watch it again right there. Yeah, Smith tried to go to that toe drag, but a better defensive play made.
The Wings play the face-off around toward the near side. It'll roll all the way into the Eagle zone. That'll be another icing. We'll face off in the Wings end. 6:58 to go here in the second period. 3-3.
Now looking at the schedule for the AC Wings, they played a nice combo of AA and single A teams. Of course, they ended up playing a number of AA schools, more by default since they play in the Northwest Suburban, which is primarily a AA conference, but they had a nice schedule, I think, where they've mixed things up with some powerhouses like Benilde St. Margaret's and, as you mentioned, Orono, but then they've also played a lot of teams in their section, so they've had a lot of success, though, as you mentioned, probably going in as being that number 2 seed in Section 2A.
Face off, played around the net to the near side corner. Kicked around at the red line and now gathered in by Delzer. Delzer sending it back into the wing zone. Try to play it off ahead of Delzer. The Wings back out at neutral. Steer this one back into the Eagle zone. It's Heffron. Plays it over toward the near side. It's taken back by the Wings. They'll fight for it in the near corner. Unable to dig it out was Burns. Burns, who had the go-ahead goal earlier in the period before Delzer was able to tie it up. This one comes on Wes Johnson. Snags it out of the air with 6:02 to go in the period.
Totino-Grace, looking at their schedule, they obviously have played a very tough slate of games this season, being their first year playing AA hockey, and they got just one more left as they take on Spring Lake Park on Valentine's Day on Friday night. That'll be our final broadcast of the season. By the way, we're not able to cover section games because basically the different sections around the state, for the most part, do restrict doing live video, which isn't the best thing in the world, but it is what it is.
Yep, so certainly have live updates for you from the TG Twitter handle. I don't think Brett or I will personally be there, but we'll certainly have somebody keeping an eye on those games for you.
Yeah, just to emphasize, it's not our decision that we're not able to cover the section playoffs. That is up mostly to the sections, where some of them say there's no video allowed whatsoever, or others actually charge a pretty exorbitant fee to actually video section hockey games, and it's a little bit more than our budget can unfortunately afford.
The Wings back out at the red line with it as we get a whistle with 5:23 to go in the period. We'll start a GoFundMe. Maybe we can fund our way to have section.
I'll even say this, even if you were to line up a GoFundMe, it probably still wouldn't cover enough. I won't say the exact number, but it's higher than you would possibly imagine. It's actually a pretty Well, I won't even say the word to describe the amount of the fee that, or a word to describe the fee that they charge.
It may have Astro in the word.
Yeah. Yes.
Ganaz will go back and get the loose puck in his own zone. Just under 5 minutes to go here in the second period. Ganaz will chip it in deep to the wing zone. Reeve will try to poke it away. It's back behind the net. The Eagles unable to hold. 1:33 to go, 1:23 to go in the power play.
Yeah, the Eagles had a good opening power play in this game, but their second one didn't work so well as Armstrong Cooper did a nice job clogging up some of those lanes.
Heffron on the drive, and he just shoots it wide. We haven't seen Kyle Heffron do much of that in the last few games, as he's been more of a defensive positioner. It's Heffron trying to drive the net again as it's taken away and cleared by the wings.
Yeah, but he's certainly not going to be afraid to move up on the play. In fact, that's actually what he did on that first Totino-Grace goal early in the game. He jumped up on that play and helped create that goal from Austin Bernavec. I was going to say Wes Johnson, don't be covering that puck up, but yeah, he smartly decided to leave that for a teammate. Last thing in the world you want to do is take a face-off in your own zone when you're on the power play.
Heffron gets it ahead to Bernavec. Bernavec to Thielen. Thielen will try to drop it off on the side of the net, and it was cleared away. 23 seconds to go in the power play. Heffron able to hold the zone. Thielen and Connor Smith trying to get control of the puck. Thielen will play it back towards Bernavec. Now here's Heffron. Heffron, nice drag move. Heffron gets it down toward the far side, and a shot blocked wide of the net. 5 seconds in the power play, 3:25 in the period. The Wings come back to full strength. Played around toward the near side, now sent back up toward Heffron, who's able to hold the zone. Thielen spun around. Puck battled for in front of the Eagle bench. It comes free to Stelzer. Stelzer tried to get it down low as it's set up into the far side corner. Thielen with a shot wide of the net. 2:55 to go here in the second period. 3-3 our score as the Wings play it in deep to the Eagle zone. Ganaz trying to take it away from Matt Campion. This is cleared out to neutral ice. It's banked back into the Wings, the Eagle zone. The Eagles play it over to Ganaz. Ganaz on the near side will flip it into the Wings end, up into the far side corner. 2:18 to go here in the second period. 3-3 our score. Shot wide of the net by Teddy Campion. Will carry him back into the neutral zone. Gray is able to get a shot off the glass, comes down toward the near side. Under 2 minutes to play in the period. Gray back out at neutral and goes off the stick of Pearson up into the far side boards. Gray getting tied up when he's able to get it down to Finley. Finley back toward Gray. Gray behind the net with it. Now he's up in the far side corner. The Wings able to poke it away from down low. Golden with a drive blocked. Comes back around the Wings net up toward the far side and then cleared out. And that will go for icing with 1:13 to go here in the second period. 3-3 our score. The Wings took the early lead here in the second period, but Luke Delzer was able to tie it up. Face off deep in the Robbinsdale Armstrong Cooper zone. The Wings able to push it in, but offside. They'll have a face-off in the neutral zone with 1:03 to go here in the second period. Get it toward Oliver Moore. Moore tried to play it cross side, but the Wings able to take it away. Sent back toward the near side. Well, if they drop it off, there's a save made by Johnson. No, they score as it's pushed into the net. Or did they? As it looks like the Wings players are not happy, so I think this isn't going to be a goal.
Well, let's take a look at it on the replay. Yeah, let's see if I can rewind it a bit more than that. Let's see if we can get a look. Well, the puck clearly went in the net. The only thing I can think of is that the referee may have blown it dead ahead of time. You'll see it squirt free from the pads of Les Johnson. That's what I'm thinking the referee is saying, is that the puck, you'll see right there, it's between the pads of Les Johnson, and I think the referee was saying the puck was dead, and then it was hit free for a goal.
As they score anyway, it's Ben Anderson with his second goal of the game. And I guess you can say if the Wings deserve to have that goal, they now have it, and they have the lead with 36 seconds to go here in the second period.
So no harm, no foul, I guess, as they're able to get one there. So that's a good response by them, because sometimes when you see a team get denied a goal that they think should count, you'll see them kind of feel sorry for themselves and maybe lose their energy. But yeah, the Wings just kept pounding it, and they were able to get that into the net. 4-3, they take the lead.
The face-off sent back into the Eagle zone. As Golden plays it back over to Howie Moore. Moore chips it into the neutral zone. As Thielen has it knocked off his stick, but it comes right to Delzer. Then Delzer slips. 17 seconds to go in the period as it's sent into the wing zone. Big hit put on by Thielen on the end boards. Adam Johnson up in the corner. Couldn't gain control of the puck as Golden drops it back in with 3 seconds to go in the period. And the Wings will go to the second intermission, buoyed by that huge late goal, the second goal from Anderson, coming just moments after a controversial no goal. But said the Wings just said, well, no, you're not going to give it to us, and we're just going to keep pounding, and they were rewarded a few seconds later. And they'll go to the second intermission with a 4-3 lead. Going to take a break here on the TG Network. Come back with your third period about 13 minutes away. Welcome you back inside the Brooklyn Park Community Center. 16:54 to go here in the third period. Eagles trailing 4-3. Ben Anderson scoring his second of the game late in that second period to put the Wings back in front just moments after a slightly controversial no-goal call against the Wings on a drive in front of the net. So some would say that, well, the Wings deserve to be in front, and they are as we begin the third period. As Ganaz back with it deep in his own zone. Ganaz takes a big hit on the end boards. The Wings will be able to take it away. No set up in the offensive end as it's stepped back out to neutral ice, and the Wings will have to touch up. 16:07 to go here in the final period as it's sent for an icing into the Wings zone. Along with Brett and Al, I'm Patrick, one final time this season. Have one last game at Spring Lake Park, but it'll be Brett and Al for that game. We'll have a face-off deep in the wing zone. Eagles setting up behind their own net, sent up toward the far side. They stretch it out into the neutral zone as Thielen was tied up coming into the offensive zone. Jack Potter plays it back into the Eagles zone, but the Eagles ready to take it right back out as Adam Johnson able to poke this one in deep. Johnson circling the net with it. Johnson along the near side, drops it into the corner. Delzer behind the net, drops it to Thielen for a shot save. Another shot was off the side of the net. Thielen back behind the net on the far side boards. Thielen had a couple of sharp angle looks at Reeve. But the game remains 4-3 in favor of Armstrong Cooper. As we'll get a whistle and a penalty possibly coming with 15:11 to go here in the third period. Looks like it's going to go against the Eagles based on the Homer Simpson sound effect they just played over the PA.
Yes, it will, and that'll give Armstrong Cooper their fourth power play of the game.
Oh, it's going to be on the wing. They played the wrong sound.
I just assume Homer Simpson as well, but that usually means it's a power play for the opposition, but no, indeed will be on the AC Wings. That'll give Totino-Grace a chance. They're 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. And that's actually the difference in the game, where PG has not scored on their power play chances, while
shot just wide by Bernovic.
While Armstrong has scored, well, once technically, but I would say really twice. Just their second time, it was right after the penalty expired.
Bernovic tipped it just wide once again. Smith trying to get it back to Oliver Moore, and cleared by the Wings. 1:35 in the power play. The Eagles set up deep in their own end, looking to get the game tied up. They get it ahead to Moore. Moore shoots one high over the net. Oliver Moore with a great chance. There's a shot glove save off the stick of Ganaz.
It's kind of been a theme for Oliver Moore over the past few games, where he's just unfortunately been misfiring on some of his shots. We're going to look at this again if we can get a chance before we head to the next face-off, where he's been sailing a lot of his shots over the past few games, so we'll see if we can get that accuracy back.
The Wings able to clear it out to neutral. There's Teddy Campion carrying it ahead. Now he slows it down, gets it back over to the near side. It's flipped in deep by Jack Potter. Puck tied up on the end boards. Eagles will come out with it. Thielen to Delzer. Delzer slows it down in the offensive zone. Oh, what a great job to poke that one away by Teddy Campion as it's sent back into the neutral zone. It's Potter with a shot wide of the net. Teddy Campion laid out to poke that puck away on the cross-ice pass.
And you can tell that really energized the bench for Armstrong Cooper, too. That's a real hustle play that will gain you a lot of favor of your teammates.
25 seconds in the power play. Delzer shot save, rebound cleared. So the Wings able to clear it. 15 seconds remaining in the power play. The Eagles setting up deep in their own zone. Maybe one last rush. They'll get it to Gray. Gray poked away, but Delzer able to maintain it. Get it over to Howie Moore. Moore with a shot saved by Reeve. He's back up toward the far side. Power play is over. Gray fighting to push it back into the corner. Gray. Patrick Finley can't keep the puck in possession as it's played around the net toward the near side. There's an offside whistle here with 12:40 to go here in the third period. 4-3. Armstrong Cooper maintaining the lead. Backhanded into the Eagle zone. Battled for up in the far side corner. Still fought for on the end boards. Comes in on Johnson, who's able to get his glove on it. 12:14 to play in regulation. 4-3, the Wings maintaining that one-goal lead. Face off up in the far side corner. The Wings able to push it toward the net. It's loose in front. They score as they're able to poke the loose puck past Wes Johnson. The Wings have their largest lead of the game at 5-2.
Yeah, more traffic out there in front of Wes Johnson.
And that's Jack Campion picking up the goal. So he extends his team-leading goal in points total. 5-3, 12:07 to play in regulation.
And you just see the Eagles are a little slow getting bodies on forwards that are sitting there in front of the net. It's been a theme all season for TG, and it came back to burn them again. So now they have quite a hill to climb, down by 2 goals.
The Eagles flip it in, bouncing puck on Reeve, and he covers it up. 11:48 to play in regulation. 5-3, the Eagles trailing. We're going to be setting ourselves up for another wild ending here at the Brooklyn Park Community Center. The shot high over the top of the net by Bernovic. Bernovic scored the first 2 goals of the game to give the Eagles a 2-0 lead. It feels like a long time ago at this point. The Wings in the offensive zone once again. Flipped out to neutral ice, down toward the near side. Held in the neutral zone. Played up into the far side corner. Golden. Golden was almost able to stretch it through to Veland. It was intercepted. Played back in deep by Anders Johnson. The Eagles do a good job of getting it tied up at the blue line. Sent in deep by Steinke. 10:47 remaining. Delzer into the offensive zone along the left wing. Delzer is able to maintain the puck through the body check. Adam Johnson can't possess it in the corner. Steinke able to get it back out through neutral. The Eagles will have to collect it deep in their own zone. Down to 10:25 remaining in regulation. Here comes Ganaz. Ganaz with a shot pad save by Reeve. Backhand centering feed is swept back out to neutral. As Teddy Campion carries it into the offensive zone. Campion driven hard into the end boards. The Eagles nearly connect on this pass to Keelan. That'll be an icing.
Yeah, second time they've not been able to connect on those home run style passes. Obviously they're great if they work, but you get punished obviously with the icing, and I think you got to be a little more patient when you're trying to work your way into the offensive zone. You can't just rely on hitting those types of home run passes to get the job done.
Campion with a shot blocked and tipped wide down into the near corner. So under 10 minutes to play in regulation. 5-3. The Wings with the lead is a big hit thrown on the near side. Gray trying to work his way through the middle. Puck is loose and swept out of there. And we'll get a whistle with the puck, or excuse me, the net getting knocked off.
You're going to see just another nice physical play made by Armstrong's player, defenseman, and then they had a chance out there in front. Then unfortunately that net came loose. Otherwise, at the point, they were going to have possibly a pretty good look at the net.
The Wings play it around toward the near side, toward Noah Wisejohn. Sent back up onto the far side boards. Wings trying to work it through neutral. Good physical play by Ganaz to cut the puck off. He tries to clear, but he can't. The drive wide of the net by Joe Campion. Back out through neutral. Finley is pushed around, separated from the puck. The Wings dump it back in deep as we get a whistle with 9:07 to go. Well, one final telecast Friday night from Spring Lake Park. The Eagles will wrap up the regular season. The Wings bring the face-off around the net toward the near side. Sneaking through the neutral zone and carried into the offensive zone by battered Sasher, and he puts it on goal. And Johnson holds on with 8:55 remaining in regulation.
Certainly one of the better saves Wes Johnson has made this evening. Let's go ahead and get a quick look at it before we get back to live action. Also a good defensive play not to open up that passing option and making that a nice, predictable play for Wes Johnson.
As it's sent back deep into the wing zone, so ring it around toward the near side. Played into the neutral zone by Matt Campion. The Wings will set up in neutral. Pushed ahead into the Eagle zone. Down into the near side corner as Connor Smith takes a big hit. We get the midpoint of the third period. 5-3, Armstrong Cooper leading it. The Wings have scored 5 of 6 goals in the game since falling behind 2-0.
Yeah, what a job by Armstrong Cooper just to really clog up these passing lanes. They were trying to hit Bernabek on that cross-ice pass and was just intercepted, and just Armstrong Cooper has really disrupted the flow of this Totino-Grace offense. They are just not allowing those passes to connect, and it's just due to some, not only just the physical play, but they're just getting in the way of all these passing lanes, and it's really created some havoc for TG.
Face off in the neutral zone. 7:59 remaining in regulation. It's pushed into the Wings end. The Wings able to bank it off glass back to neutral. The Eagles will play it from their own end. Bank pass ahead into the Armstrong Cooper zone. Down in the near side corner as it circles the net. The Wings will break ahead with Evan Dienick. Coolable back pushing it ahead. Got on to 7.5 minutes remaining. So we get a whistle with 7:25 remaining.
Yeah, I think they might be getting a Totino-Grace penalty on this one, which is, well, let's see where they get. That is going to go.
Adam Johnson.
Yeah, someone got tripped down there, and that is exactly what the doctor did not order for TG. Is they'll take him to at least the 5:25 mark until they're back to full strength, and the clock is really starting to become the enemy for the Totino-Grace Eagles.
Well, the Eagles, who have been shorthanded specialists this year somewhat, but a lot of those shorthanded goals could really use one right here.
Yeah, they got 6 on the season, but the problem is most of those came early in the year when their penalty kill unit was just doing an outstanding job, and as we talked about earlier, that PK unit has now dropped below 75%. And earlier in the year, they were killing off upwards of 90% of their opponent's power play. So you got to try to find a way to get this unit to click again, and they're certainly going to have to do it now if they have any sort of chance of coming back in this one.
Potter gets it to the far side. The Wings there trying to cycle it back around the net. Loose in front. They score! It's a power play goal. That's 2 in the game for the Wings, and essentially a third. That'll be Kubelbeck picking up his. Excuse me. It'll be Joe Potter with the goal, and it's 6-3 either way.
Yeah, another case of just a lot of traffic getting out there in front of Wes Johnson, and give Armstrong Cooper credit. That's how they scored one of their power play goals, was just by getting bodies in front of Wes Johnson, obstructing his view, and that's exactly what they did right there.
The drive wide of the net. The Wings able to hold as they play it back down into the near side corner. We're down to 6:35 remaining in regulation as the Wings fell behind 2-0, but have outscored the Eagles 6-1 since then. The Wings able to get it back into the Eagle zone. Poked ahead by Gray. Played her off past Schroeder. Gray back at the red line, plays it back in. Works behind the goal line into the corner. It's Jack Potter coming in offside with 5:52 to go, and the Eagles need a little more of that community center magic that we've seen throughout this season.
Yeah, we've seen them come back from a 2-goal deficit with less than 2 minutes to go in a hockey game. It was back in Blaine where they fell behind the Bengals by 2 goals late and were able to pop in 2 just before the buzzer expired to force overtime. And of course, Elk River had that very famous or infamous game, depending on which team you cheer for, where they were down by 3 goals to TG, and then they scored 3 goals in the final 2 minutes.
They had the wild finish against Andover that looked like the Eagles were going to upset the #1 Huskies.
Yeah, they had a lead with just over a minute to go when they scored a goal, and then unfortunately just seconds later Andover came back and tied it with like 48 seconds left. So there's been no shortage of good games at the Brooklyn Park Ice Arena, and there's still plenty of time to create another memorable finish if you're an Eagles fan.
Puck tied up on the end boards. It works its way back long in front of the net and then played up into the far side corner. The drive saved by Johnson, and the rebound comes down into the near side corner. Tommy Campion will put on another big hit on the end boards.
Oh, the problem, though, is that Armstrong just absolutely has Totino-Grace bottled up in their own zone, and you don't like to see that. Unfortunately, that's Howie Moore down on the ice, and hopefully he maybe just got the wind knocked out of him or something like that, and he's able to be all right. So certainly send our best wishes to him, and hopefully he's able to get off the ice.
We'll at least put the Eagles on a power play. We, of course, hope Howie Moore's health primarily is the concern right now. There'll be a 5-minute major on Campion.
Yeah, so it'll be an extended power play for Totino-Grace, which will certainly benefit them in terms of trying to get back, and we do at least see Howie Moore on his feet getting some assistance from Golden and also the trainer, so it looks like he's kind of walking on his own power, so hopefully it's nothing too serious for him.
Well, the table is set. It's going to be a full 5 minutes to play in a 5-minute power play. So the opportunities will be there for the Eagles to try to get this game tied up, and they immediately push one in on Reeve. The Eagles control the face-off. Heffron back to Ganaz, up into the far side corner. Centering feed and just chopped wide by Bernovic on the one-timer. Shot wide by Ganaz. Back to Heffron. Heffron over to Oliver Moore. Oliver Moore drops it back to Heffron. Heffron slides it far side, was able to get it on his stick for a shot from Connor Smith and cleared out by the wings.
There's just so much energy on that bench for Armstrong Cooper. About everybody just exploded when they made that clear, including members of the coaching staff. So this team certainly is very engaged in this game, and they are playing with a lot of energy. It almost seems like that penalty kind of fired them up, going, all right, well, we're up by 3 goals. We got to kill this off and use that to try to win the game. Oddly, the power play clock and the game clock actually match up exactly with 4:19 on each of those. So that penalty will literally take us to the end of regulation.
The Eagles control the face-off in their own zone. Ganaz drive it in deep. Reeves slows it down as it goes off the back of the net. Wings able to clear it back out, and that draws another roar from the Wings bench. Johnson was taken off of his stick. Be gathered in by Ganaz. He'll have to retreat into his own zone.
All it takes is one, though, for TG to open those floodgates.
Delzer in the near corner able to work through. Delzer. And played to the blue line, but not out. Moves down to the near side. Thielen will cycle it back through. The Eagles were initially able to hold and cleared out to neutral. 3:23 remaining in the game and the major penalty. As the Wings will clear at the length of the ice. Ganaz will set up deep in his own end. Without the stick of Bernovic. Oliver Moore with a nice play to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Centering feed toward Connor Smith. He was tied up and the Wings will clear. Now down to 2:50 in the game and the power play. Ganaz will be able to push it into the offensive zone. Ganaz, Oliver Moore plays it back to the far side and cleared again. Heffron will get it deep in the Eagles zone, and a penalty coming here against the Eagles for that big hit.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a chance that could be another matching 5 on that one, since that hit was up against the boards. We'll have to see what the official ruling is, but that'll certainly get things to 4-on-4 for at least 2 minutes and possibly even more.
Parker Ganaz put on the big hit. That'll put him in the penalty box. They're going to take 2 penalties against the Eagles on that sequence, so it's going to be 4-on-3 for the Wings.
So, yeah, you are correct. Well, the math is interesting on this, but I think you're technically right. If they do call 2 separate 2 penalties, well, they have 2 men in the box for TG, so indeed they will get the man advantage.
Oh, it's a 4-on-3 power play for Armstrong Cooper. They got Ganaz for the hit, and then they got Heffron for unsportsmanlike conduct. That's how we ended up with the two separate penalties. Now a 150 in the game, 127 in the Armstrong Cooper power play. Wings setting up in the offensive zone. Shot save. Loose in front of Johnson as the Wings are whacking away at it as Johnson covers with 1:39 to go in the game. 1:16 in the 4-on-3 power play.
Yeah, interesting to see if they send out Campion and Anderson among some of those other talented players that the Wings have. Being 4-on-3 certainly allows you to have a lot of space to work with out on the ice.
The Wings will set up from deep in their own end as Burns behind his own net. Burns slows it down on the far side. He sends it over to the near side as it's carried in by Steinke. 1:15 remaining. Puck loose in the slot. Backhand shot, save, rebound, poked away. 1:07 to go in regulation. 6-3, Wings leading it. The shot saved by Johnson, and he holds on with 59 seconds remaining and 36 seconds in the Wings 4-on-3 power play.
Yeah, so it looks very much like the Wings will win their 5th game in the past 6 tries, which is going to give them a lot of momentum heading into the section playoffs. And for TG, unfortunately for them, it's going to be another tough loss, and they'll have at least one more chance coming up on Friday night to try to get back in the win column.
50 seconds to go in the game. It's loose in front of the net. The Eagles able to clear. Reeve sends this one up into the offensive zone. Drop for a shot from the circle, saved by Johnson. 30 seconds remaining in the game. Pass out of reach down into the near side corner as the Eagles return to full strength. 5-on-4 power play for the next 15 seconds until the end of the game. The Eagles will chip it around the net. 10 seconds to go. It comes in on Wes Johnson, who holds on with 4 seconds left. So, listen, this is my final outing on the TG Network this season. Would like to say a big thank you to all of our viewers. And Brett and Al, of course, and Krister Woodley, who was the only other person to hang out on our crew this season for one game. I think that was Mounds View, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was early in the season at Mounds View when unfortunately kind of a flu bug was going around the Totino-Grace team.
The game comes to an end. The Wings score 6 of the final 7 goals in the game after they fell behind 2-0 in the first period. Austin Bernovic with a great first period, scored a pair of goals, had some other good chances, but unfortunately the Wings just had the better of play tonight, and they come out doubling up the Eagles by a final of 6-3. So for Al and Brett, I'm Patrick. You can catch one final TG Network game Friday night when the Eagles take on Spring Lake Park. I believe that game is at 7 o'clock. It'll be with Brett and Al. We will catch you soon from an arena near you.